What's up, everybody? I'm back twice in 1 week. Kind of weird. So you kind of saw my new books and some trades in that video. And this video, you're going to see a huge back issue haul that I picked up from, it used to be one of my local comic book stores. I live like an hour away from this shop now, and I used to live like 10 minutes away from it. So it's not as often that I get down there, nor do there's kind of a gap like 2022 to like 2024 where I wasn't really buying books, so I didn't really go down there much then. I was just buying my new stuff and reading my books. I wasn't really buying back issues too much those years, or going out hunting on the weekends and stuff for them. But they had a 50% off sale. They're gonna be doing it all month, so I'll be going back in a couple weeks. There's some stuff that I didn't get to that I wanted to check out, or stuff that I realized that my stack was too big at this point. I should probably just go check out before I spend way too much money. So what it was, this shop is called Soundground in Vestal, New York. It doesn't really sound like a comic shop name, but that's because they don't just do comics. They do vinyl. They have vintage, used, and new video games. They have board games, card games. You can get Magic and Pokemon fixed there. DVDs, VHS, manga, graphic novels, and a boatload of comic books. They do new books and tons of back issues. I've been doing that for a while. Going there for back issues. I filled out a lot of runs there, a lot of runs that I don't have anymore, a lot of runs I still have, that I flipped over the years for, saving space and money, and now I'm back in a hoarder phase because I just love filling out runs and buying books. So yeah, Soundground, Vestal, New York, 50% off sale. They're working on shrinking their comic inventory a little bit. By the sounds of it, it looks like they're just kind of get rid of one row. So they're just going to streamline what's out on the floor, which is fine. I mean, as long as I still got some back issues to go dig through, and then the prices don't change much. But yeah, as far as new books, I don't know if they're going to be ordering all the same stuff, if they're just going to try to trim it down to DC, Marvel, and a few indies, because they buy pretty much everything that comes out has been on the shelves. So we'll see what's going on. So I'm going to do this in 4 waves based on how I bought the books. Before I get into it, I got 104 books for $99. So that's less than $1 per book. I went ham on the dollar bins. 50% off, 50-cent books. I got 73 books out of those, so that basically made every book less than $1 after, and I picked out some pretty cool gems for $1 to $2 to $2.50. I think the most I paid for a book was $5, and it was only one book, and you'll see that at some point. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Show some books. 3 minutes in, I can't stop talking. First up, I'm going to show the books that I don't necessarily want to keep in my collection. There's some that may end up in there eventually anyway. This is stuff that I'll either put in my whatnot once I get that going again. Bear with me. It's going to be a couple more months, I think, before I'm ready to start diving back into the whatnot game. I just got to work on streamlining the inventory. I sell a lot on eBay right now. Anyway, so I picked these up 50 cents a piece. Couldn't say no. Jeff Johns Flash, $1.98. I have the whole run collected in trade paperback form, so I'm not really overly anxious to pick up the singles of Flash. Not really a huge Flash collector. I love reading Flash. I love the Flash, but I don't necessarily need to have back issues. I may start picking up some Bronze and Silver Age Flash, though. 200, and that may just be like what I get Flash-wise in my collection. This one I'm flirting with, putting this run together of the Adam Hughes Wonder Woman covers. This is $177, 50 cents. Couldn't say no. This as well, I found it for 50 cents. It's really nice VF condition. It has all the trading cards on the inside. X-Men 30, just a classic Cyclops, Jean Grey, Kiss, wedding cover. Andy Kubert doing what he does best. This was one of the 2 accidental doubles I picked up. Shadow of the Bat 15 for whatever reason. I thought I needed it, but 15 I had already. And it's not even a better copy than the ones in my collection right now. So it'll just go into the whatnot inventory. I plan on doing a Batman show here at some point of Batman doubles I have and stuff like that. And speaking of Batman doubles, I meant to put this back in the bin. It ended up in my stack. Again, less than $1. I'm not going to complain. Batman 266 was the only issue of Batman that was kind of in the range of that what I needed for the run. And yeah, I got it. I think it was marked at $3.99. It's got like some waviness to it. It probably could be pressed and come out a little bit nicer, but I'm gonna keep it how it is. I don't want to waste my time trying to press a book that's not gonna be in my collection, and I don't think it'll upgrade the one that I have. And then this one, anytime I find this book, I got this for $1. Anytime I find this book for, $5 or less, I pick it up. This is Batman 570. This is the second appearance of Harley Quinn in DC continuity. Kind of a book that has some pretty significant importance that can fly under the radar, hence why I got it for $1. Pretty awesome. So that'll end up in that Batman show here eventually, when I get around to doing that on Whatnot. All right. Next up, that's like a VF copy, 8.5. Not bad for a book for $1. I used to flip them for $20 a piece back. It was pre-COVID actually. It was like 20, probably around. Actually, honestly, it's probably around the Birds of Prey movie, or not the Birds of Prey, the Suicide Squad movie coming out. It's kind of big with the Harley, first movie. The biggest stack that I got was Titans books. If you guys have been following me for the last, year almost, it'll be a year, and I think April or May, when I went to the first Lehigh Valley Comic Con that I went to, and I picked up a ton of Titans books on that trip. We're gonna have a bunch more here, and I'm just gonna keep filling in the Titans run. I plan on completing most of the Titans volumes. I don't really care about the new 52 Teen Titans run so much, or the Rebirth Teen Titans run so much. But pretty much anything pre New 52 I plan on getting, and I have the current Titans volume all collected. So speaking of Titans, this is Titans Volume 2, 2008. This is number 7. Jeez, this is... Mylar. I put my whole collection in Mylar, guys. I know it's kind of ridiculous and expensive, but I archive these books is what I'm trying to say. Like, I collect, but I also archive. I like to have the, full runs of stuff, and, I want to keep them nice. And Mylar is the easiest method if you don't want to change your bags and boards every 10 years. So in the long run, am I going to spend all that money on bags and boards anyway? Yeah, so I feel like it's fine. Anyway, this is number 7, Howard Porter cover. I don't really have much to say. We'll try to go through these fast. Number 8. Nice covers. This is, I believe, is a Tony S. Daniel cover to number 9 with Jericho. Number 13. This is my favorite cover in the whole batch right here. Angel Unzueta. I'm only saying it once. He did a bunch of these. Or Angel, yeah, Angel. I'm just calling him Angel. Amazing. That's number 14. There's another one coming up that I really like. Number 15, another Angel cover. Number 16, gorgeous. What we got? Wally West and Cyborg holding back Starfire there. This is another really good Angel cover here, number 20. Donna Troy. Number 22. At least I think that's Donna Troy. She's dead at this point. Then I don't know who that is. Starfire and Cyborg. I don't remember when she came back after her death. Number 24. Fiorentino. Awesome Destro cover. Then we have number 37. This is the second to last issue in the volume. My boy Mad Hatter's over here, so I had to pick that one up. I didn't even go to the... so the way the shop is, it's alphabetized. So everything's alphabetized. Not necessarily in numerical order, but it'll be in the title. So like you may, you'll have all the Batmans in a row, but it may flip between volume 1, 2, 3, and well, not 4 so much. I don't think 4's got the back issue, hit the back issue bends yet, but yeah. So I didn't even go to the Titans section. This was all dollar bin. They had the dollar bin separate in the front where they used to put the new stuff, the new stock. But they switched it to the other side. Like I said, I think they're getting rid of the whole one side of the comic area. They do a lot of toys, so my guess is they're probably remodeling to add more room for toys. Because they had toys just tucked everywhere, so I'm guessing they're trying to kind of organize the toy section. Makes sense. If that's what's selling, you got to do that. But yeah, so I didn't even go to the Titans section. I went to a very few of the actual alphabetized sections because by the time I was done with the dollar bins, I had a huge stack. As you can tell. I found a Titans #1 from volume 1 of Titans. This is the first title where they're just the Titans. You'll see later on where they were Titans. They weren't Teen Titans anymore, but they weren't. They didn't have a volume called the Titans. This is #1. This is actually kind of significant. It's the first appearance of Damien Dark. He's a pretty big antagonist. I feel like he was in one of the cartoons. Probably Young Justice. Titans #2. Or I'm making that up. It's just a very familiar name. Maybe he was in Arrow or something? I don't know. #8. I feel like he's been in something. 34, part of the Joker's Last Laugh event. This is actually a newsie. 35. I did pull some newsies out of here from, times where the newsstands are a lot less common, like this one here. 36. 37 newsstand. They're about, lower VF condition. The newsies are. The directs seem to be more in the 8 ranges. 38, but for 50 cents, I'm not going to complain about the condition so much. If it obviously looked too jacked for me to want, and I'm thinking I'll probably find a better copy for $1 or so, then I didn't pick it up. But this is a newsie for 43. There was stuff that I left behind. All right, getting into the actual Teen Titans for the most part. You'll see the new Titans in here at some point, which is what I was alluding to before. That's the only thing that doesn't have teen in the title. My favorite DC-centric team is the Titans, including the Teen Titans. I like them more than the Justice League, to be honest. The Justice League kind of pisses me off sometimes. Teen Titans #5. This is the Jeff Johns 2003 run. I think it's technically volume 3. #5 of just Teen Titans. No new, obviously. There was 2 volumes of new Teen Titans in between volume 1 and volume 2 of Teen Titans. This is #9. This is a key issue. This is the first full appearance of Rose Wilson as Ravager. I didn't find a #8, but I also didn't go to the Teen Titans section and pick these out. These were all, again, out of the dollar bins. #21. There was more. I just didn't grab doubles, obviously, of what I already have. This is a newsstand of 23. I was kind of pleasantly surprised to find a newsie of this run. This is actually this is a 9.0, actually, which is a pretty high grade for a newsstand. And what I find, people may find, high grade books all the time at their shops, but I don't. I usually get VF copies in the cheap bins. I don't usually get near mint stuff. 25. At cons, that's a different story. I have a better luck pulling higher grade books out of the cheap bins at cons than I do at most comic book stores. Because they take trade-ins from all sorts of riffraff. You have no idea where these books came from. #29. 30. Tony S. Daniel did a lot of covers on during this part of the run, which is another reason why I want to pick these all up. I do have the compendium pre-ordered for the Jeff Johns run, so I'm excited to finally read this. I used to own it, never got around to reading it, and it got purged. Now I'm buying it again. Some of these may be my issues because I definitely traded them into Soundground. 9.4. Downsized. This is a 7.5. This is actually the origin of Kid Devil, which is here. Then we have Teen Titans 46. This is significant because this is the last Jeff Johns issue in the volume. And then it goes into Adam Beechin, who in his own is a good writer. Just obviously not as well regarded as Jeff Johns. This is one of the most iconic runs of Teen Titans. 9.0, obviously inspired Young Justice. I mean, second to Wolfman and Perez, obviously, but this was pretty iconic for a modern series anyway. Jeff Johns annual 1. This is the only annual in volume 3, even though it ran 100 issues. Volume 2, Teen Titans. I don't have much to say about this. It's a weird team, and it's from an era that I don't have much knowledge on. Number 8. None of your usual suspects are on the team, at least through the first bit of this volume. Number 9. I don't know why I picked these up, just probably because they're in the 50-cent bins, and I will eventually get it anyway. I probably could have passed and got something else for this money, but it was $2 to get all 4 of these. And it's a run, and I'm sorry about the train. I'm going to pause it while the train goes by. Okay, I'm back, sorry. I think it stopped honking its horn. It was obnoxious. It's one of the worst ones. So you might still hear it in the background, but it shouldn't be honking anymore. This is where we get into the New Titans. This spun out of volume 2 of the New Teen Titans. We'll talk about that in a minute. Kind of where it spun out, like which issue. This is issue 68 of the New Titans. I thought this was like a Joker at first, but it's talking about the Royal Flush Gang. So I flipped through it, and it's just some other person. I didn't really read it, so I don't know who it was per se. I haven't read this part of the run yet, so I'm excited to keep going. I've been slowly reading the Wolfman Perez trade paperbacks. I'm on volume 5 or 6 right now. Just getting up to the Judas contract era. I think Tara just joined not too long ago. She hasn't been revealed as a traitor or anything yet. Number 77 here. Brotherhood of Evil just kidnapped Raven. And then they went back and got her. Yeah. Anyway, that's where I'm at. If you're keen to the series, we're on the back half of the first volume. Actually, the back quarter of the last volume. Or the first volume. Ends at 41, technically, and then spins out into Tales of the Teen Titans. The New Titans here, issue 85. This is a 9.0. I don't know why I specified the grade. I haven't been saying the grades. Issue 89 with Nightwing on the cover here. Nice Tom Grommet doing some of these covers. Pretty underrated artist in my opinion. Did a lot of Robin work as well. Number 92. Met him. He was a very nice gentleman. I didn't have him sign anything, but I did have a brief conversation with him at a convention at one point. Number 97. Got Changeling on the cover here. I was gonna say, yeah, they're still calling him Changeling at this point. I don't think they start calling him Beast Boy again until Jeff Johns' run. Number 98. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a 99. That's the first time they call Roy Harper Arsenal. We got a newsie of 116 here. All right, so that's the New Titans issues. I don't know why I put it in that order, so we're gonna make sure I fix it going forward. So it turned to New Titans at issue 50, right? And then, so issue 49, it was still the New Teen Titans, which is volume 2 of the New Teen Titans, which started in 1984. It still features a lot of Wolfman-bound writing. It's kind of around the era where George Perez left to focus on, his Wonder Woman run. That's, a masterpiece in its own right. So he left a lot of, Teen Titans to Wolfman, and Wolfman co-wrote some of these issues with Paul Levitz. And then the artist kind of changed. Like, this is Eric Larson did the pencils in this book. This is number 33. And then at some point, these also had reprints. I don't know if that's some of the Tales of the Teen Titans spun out into reprints or not. I'm not entirely sure, but this is Tales of the Teen Titans 67. I don't know if that was the first few issues of New Teen Titans Volume 2. I don't know enough. Like I said, I'm just collecting them all, and I'll read them all eventually, and then I'll know. Or you can let me know in the comments below which issues were reprints. I don't remember. This is 67, but this is Wolfman with a gorgeous George Perez cover. George Perez is so good at fitting so much of a scene on just one cover. Look at all the characters. And even though they're like smaller than, like a normal cover where you have like a big character, centric on the cover, like this, where you have a few people on the cover, but like, perspective here. No knock to Joe Orlando. This is a gorgeous cover as well. But this is just a whole scene on a cover. You have all these characters, and he doesn't spare any detail. Still very nice lines. Like, look at Donna Troy there, Wonder Girl. You still get some good quality Nightwing on the cover. I got all these good characters. Cyborg down there, Jericho. Just a gorgeous cover. Starfire in there. I didn't even see her. Titans, Gods, and Giants. So that does it for the Teen Titans issues, guys. Thanks for sticking through that with me. I really appreciate that. I'm a huge fan of Titans. Happy to add all those to the collection. So if you guys know me at all, I'm a huge Batman collector, which obviously you saw with a couple of those doubles there that I picked up. I went in and got some Bat books and Bat family-centric books. I didn't even get to the Nightwing section because my stack was so big. By the time I got there, I knew my budget was $100. I went up, got it counted, it was $99. I just had this ESP that I was at my budget, and I stopped looking, and I called my girlfriend. I'm like, hey, I'm ready. Come pick me up whenever you're done doing whatever you're doing. She went and did shopping, dropped me off. She knows that it takes me a few hours to go through some of these places like this. So that was nice. Then we went out and had lunch. It was good. It was a great day. Anyway, so I picked up some books. I didn't get to the Batgirl section. I didn't get to the Nightwing section. I found this issue of Batgirl in their newly priced books, so they moved that section to, again, the other side that I'm not... It's kind of like... It's hard to explain. So it goes like bin, back to bin. There's like an alley, bin. So they're getting rid of the bins on the one side here. So that's where the new books usually go, and I moved to the other side. So they had them like alphabetized new stock in there. And I found this in there, and I needed it. It's the final issue of Volume 3 of Batgirl, the Stephanie Brown volume, the Brian Q. Miller written volume that also features a ton of amazing Art Germ covers, kind of where Art Germ kind of really started to catch on. But this is a beautiful Dustin Wynn cover here with all of the Bat characters. Well, not every single one, but a whole mishmash of Bat characters on the cover here. And Supergirl and Stephanie Brown. Obviously got Oracle, Red Robin, Dick Grayson Batman, because he's Batman at the time, Damian down at the bottom there. Just epic cover. I'm so happy that I found that. I want to complete that volume. I now have 1 through 16 and 24. So just got to fill in that little gap there. I meant to look in the Batgirl section, but I was in the Batman section at the time, you know, making sure there wasn't any Batman issues I needed for that run. And there was a family just like, you know, they were checking out the new books. So it starts, there's the back walls, all the new books, and then it starts with A right there. So right where about Batgirl was, they were standing, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I don't want to ask them to move or wait. If I got time, I'll go back to it. And obviously, I ran out of money. Anyway, it was still awesome. All these books technically less than $1 once you add it all up, but a lot of them were 50 cents. So that was $1 that Batgirl issue, just to let you know. Everything else so far, I believe, has been 50 cents, unless I told you, like that Batman book was $1, and the Bronze Age one was like either $2 or $2.50. But yeah, so I found a couple Robins. I didn't even get to I did go to the Robin section. I was just looking for the 99-cent price issues and pulling out the 50 centers, but there was none in there, so I didn't feel like digging too much. So yeah, I found a 57 for 50 cents. Let me gotta adjust how I'm doing this here. 65. This is when Stephanie Brown has her baby that she gives up to adoption. That's not Dick Grayson's child, or Tim Drake, geez. Tim Drake. 74. I think all these are Chuck Dixon. 80. Betrayal. 85. This awesome Joker cover here with Tim Drake getting stuck in his head. 97. Issue 100. So kind of beating around there. That's all I could find in the 50-cent area, really. I did find a couple of big jump here from the early 2000s to the mid 2000s. 150. It starts to slowly adopt that Red Robin costume. 151. And 166. I believe this made it up to like 180 something. 83 maybe? Couldn't tell you, but slowly but surely I'm just going to pick away at it, an issue at a time. This is a series that I just started picking up. I got a few issues last Lehigh Valley Comic Con, the big con I go to right now. It's just a relatively easy drive for as far away as it is, and we find some really great stuff there, so we tend to like to go to it. Batman Gotham Knights. I just started this. I picked these up because there's they're basically all Brian Boland covers. So 21. So basically this has a story in a main story, and then it's got like a 6 to 8 page black and white story. That's where the Batman black and white comes from. And some of them are like really cool stories. They have nice creative teams. Like this one is who is it? Mike Carlin and Dan DiCarlo with Terry Austin did the inks. Which is a pretty awesome group of people there. 37. This one's Mike Carey and Steve Mannion. Nothing crazy there, but this one's Ann Nocenti and John Bolton does the backup story, the black and white story, with a gorgeous Huntress Brian Boland cover here inside the night. Freaking awesome. And then the last one I picked up, oh, no, never mind. This one isn't a Brian Boland cover. It was 50 cents, and I had to have it. This is actually a Kamajian cover. Kamajian. I'm probably butchering it. But this has a Brubaker and Ryan Sook backup story in it, which is freaking awesome. And then this is issue 46, which is a gorgeous Brian Boland cover here. Just crazy. I honestly might have a print of that cover, and pretty cool. Only issue I found of this run, that was 50 cents. I didn't look so hard though. I wanted to focus on the other one that I'm about to show you that I didn't end up finding a ton on anyway. Issue 41 of Legends of the Dark Knight. It just was there, and I didn't have it. That's why, no other reason. Nothing too important to say about it. Shout out the Bat. It's been the run I've kind of been going after lately as far as Batman books that are cheap. They have gorgeous Brian Selfreeze painted covers for like at least the first half of the series. And this one, it has a Alan Grant and Tim Sale story in it. That's number 8. Number 11. Again, Selfreeze. I need 9 and 10, and then I'll have like 1 through 35 or something done. Here's number 12. Actually, it might even be more than that now. 1 through 40 something. Once I get 9 and 10. Number 13 here. And number 14. And a lower mid-grade newsstand. I'll probably get a nice direct copy of this at some point to satisfy the itch of not having a nice condition. So next up, I kind of get into a little more of the marquee titles here for a minute. Batman annuals, I've neglected to fill that in as part of my run, so I think to technically have every Batman issue from 1980 on, I need to have annuals 8 through 28 complete. Technically, not all of them actually flow in the stories. Like this one's a Bloodlines tie-in, number 17, featuring the first appearance of Ballistic. This character here, not really important. But yeah, I needed it, so I was happy to find it. I think all of these cost me $1 a piece if you want to get technical on the prices, or less than $1 if you want to do the all-in price. This has a Mike Kaluta cover, which is pretty cool. Annual 24. Jim Aparo actually did the pencils on the inside, which is kind of a late Aparo work, which is nice. Number 26, Peter Milligan wrote this one. This is actually an origin of Ra's al Ghul and a Brian Stelfreeze cover. So, win-win. I did find a couple detectives. I found more, but they were too shoddy for me to pull the trigger on. These ones were nice enough, and I like the covers enough that I couldn't say no. First up is number 502, featuring a gorgeous Jim Aparo cover. I just like the orange. It really pops. And then number 504 is actually a Walt Simonson Joker cover. So that's freaking awesome. Happy to have that. I found this one in the 50 cent bin, and it made me go check for the other one in the Superman Batman section. So this is 23. This is the first full appearance of Batman Beyond in continuity. It turns out it's Tim Drake, verified via a toy line that came out based on this run of books. But there's also controversy that they meant it for it to be Terry. So yeah, who knows? Batman Beyond, nonetheless, it's the first time, first full appearance in continuity. Anyway, number 22. This is the cameo of Batman Beyond in continuity. I am working on it. It needs a little bit of a press. It's got some spine wear here that I think I can get out for the most part. It may leave a couple breaks, but I'll be able to at least flatten out where it's a little rough. This was the most expensive book in the haul. I paid $5 for it, but if you do the all-in price, it was less than $1. So I'm really happy to have it. I plan on putting this run together at some point. It's just not really high on my radar at the moment. I have, I think, 1 through 12 complete. It's 1 through the Supergirl story I have complete, and I decided to pick up some of the other keys I needed that are going to make picking up this run a little harder. So I'm happy to get them for cheap. Again, less than $1 all-in price. All right, 35 minutes into this, and we're finally down to the last stack. So this is kind of my miscellaneous pile, including a pretty big GAM key that I found for less than $1. It was $1. It was $2 or $1.50. It was $1.50 technically after the sale price, but again, all-in price, it was just less than $1. So if you're seeing this and you made it this far, hold tight. We're just getting good. Aquaman issue 6 from the Jeff Johns, Ivan Reyes, and Joe Prado run. And number 8. I got those because that completes my Aquaman run. I wanted to get the entire Jeff Johns run, and I think I have up to like issue 25 left or something from the Jeff Parker follow-up stories. Don't know if I care about completing the new 52 Aquaman, but I'm happy to at least have this part of the run complete. Next up, I love Green Lantern, and I'm flirting with the idea of collecting runs again. I don't think I'm going to. However, when I find these for, I think they were $2 a piece, I'm going to pick them up. So I think I'll just slowly piece together the keys and the cheap run filler when I can. And if I end up with a run, I end up with a run. It is what it is. Anyway, this is number 92. Denny O'Neil's Green Lantern and Green Arrow. This is post Neil Adams. But this does feature a very nice Mike Grell pencils on the cover and interior. It's not his painted style that he does later on in Green Arrow, but again, it's Mike Grell, and Mike Grell does some amazing pencil work. He also did this one, issue 96. This is actually a pretty big key that I found, less than $1 overall. I think it was $2 when I bought it. Green Lantern 132. It's got 3 stories inside from various creative teams. But what was most important about this issue is that this is actually the first DC published George Perez cover, which is pretty big because George Perez did a lot of amazing work for DC Comics. This is also a key. Green Lantern 173, featuring the first appearance of Javelin, who is more famous for his Suicide Squad fame. It was actually played by Flula Borg in the movie, so pretty cool. That book was way hotter back when that movie was, rising in anticipation. And then I didn't write the significance on the back of this, but this is Green Lantern 181. This is a nice 8.5 or so copy, which is much higher grade than some of the other books. A lot of 7s, 7.5s, but this is like about an 8.5. This is actually when Hal Jordan quits. It's no spoiler because it's right on the cover. Hal Jordan quits the Green Lantern Corps, so had to have it. I also need to leave that out so I remember to update the notes on the back of it. These were $5 a piece, sale price $2.50 each. I couldn't say no, and they actually happen to be keys. Phantom Stranger number 4. It's like a 3.5 to 4.0 range copy. It's got some issues. It's got a little Wicked spine roll here. That's pretty much the bulk of the issues. There's some light creasing around the edges, probably from being over where it's supposed to be. But number 4, this is actually the first appearance of Tala, who is a demon and mistress of hell. But yeah, Neil Adams cover. He does the interior artworks in this as well. $2.50. I couldn't say no. Like, in a Mylar, it looks absolutely stunning. Shout outs to Patriot Comics. This is kind of something that he would pick up that kind of would inspire me to. I also picked it up. And this was in there. This is absolutely gorgeous. It's also a Neil Adams cover. He didn't do the interiors in this book, though. Jim Aparo did. Phantom Stranger number 10. This is the first appearance of Tanarak. He's a master alchemist. Must be one of the bigger antagonists in the Phantom Stranger line. I'm not overly familiar with the stories in these books. If I ever have the chance to read them one day, I will. But yeah, this is number 10. Absolutely stunning Neil Adams cover. Something I didn't expect to buy. It wasn't on my radar. Happy to have it. Next up, we have just a random run filler Wolverine 170 or 177, getting towards the end of the run. This I bought as an upgrade. I didn't realize my other copy was a newsstand, so I'll keep them both. Punisher War Journal number 7. This is the first Punisher and Wolverine team up. This is a solid 9.2 copy. I was really happy to find this. It was $1. Stunning. Jim Lee cover. Jim Lee does the interior artwork as well, with Potts. Potts helps with some of the layouts, and he obviously wrote the book. But yeah, happy to have this an upgrade. I need to get number 6. I don't have an issue 6. This was $3.99, and so it was $2. It's not super high grade. I got it at a 5. But anytime I can find some Amazing Spider-Mans, I'm happy. And it's also a key issue. This is actually the first time that James Sanders goes by Speed Demon, formerly known as Wizard. Yeah, Amazing Spider-Man 222. Very nice. Walt Simonson cover. Happy to have it. I found some Fantastic Fours that I needed for my run, my pre-200 run, I should add. Most of these were $1. Some were $1.50 to $2, and the last one I think was $2.50. Crazy. And then I'll show you the key that I got for $1.50. We're going in reverse order as well. So this is 182. This is actually the first cameo appearance of the Witches of New Salem, which is the basically Agatha Harkness's witches team. She's pretty much the only one of note. May 1977. Sal Buscema, R.I.P., did the interior pencils. And this is a Ron Wilson cover with Joe Sinnott inks, which is probably why it's very Kirby-esque. Same with this one, Ron Wilson, Joe Sinnott. 165. This is the Death of the Crusader, this character here. This is 149. Rick Buckler, Joe Sinnott cover. Rick Buckler is one of my favorite Bronze Age artists that nobody really talks about. The Marvel Valley stamp is intact in this book, so happy to have that. This is from 1974. 149. This one's a little bit lower grade, but this is 127. Mole Man cover here. This is John Buscema and Joe Sinnott do cover and art in this issue, written by Roy Thomas. I found a Lee and Kirby Fantastic Four for $2.50. Number 90 from September of 1969, right at the end of the Silver Age. It is pretty beat up, as you can see. It's pretty dark. The whole back cover is like this same color brown here as the edge. It's not really good, but for $2.50, when you do the all-in price less than $1, to fill a hole, sub 100 Fantastic Four, Jack Kirby cover and interior, Joe Sinnott doing the inks and cover inks, and Stan Lee writing the story. I could not say no. Happy to have it nonetheless. This book right here. I was so upset I didn't have this book in my collection because I stopped reading Daredevil after the Mark Waid volume, and I picked it up, the Chip Zdarsky volume, the second volume of Chip Zdarsky, and I've tried to fill in the one previous to that, and then I missed this whole run, but I found the biggest book in that run for $1.50. This is issue 11, first appearance of Muse. So excited to have this. This book blew up. Like, it's still going for, this condition copy is about a 9.0. It's a $40 book. I got it for $1.50. It was in the newly priced books, so somebody recently priced it for $2.99, and it was still there, and I got it for $1.50 because it's 50% off sale. Yeah, I'm excited. I pressed it. It probably was about an 8.0 when I got it. I think I bumped it up a grade or two. So I got an 8.5, 9.0 range, which I am stoked. Again, for $1.50, I can't complain. It's got a little bit, you can't really see it because HD, but yeah, see, there's one spine tick. There's like one or two spine ticks about that size on the cover, and you can kind of see, it was like this before I pressed it, but the staples, like it was sitting like really tight in a book awkwardly, and the staples kind of, you can kind of see the staple lines here. But yeah, I'm stoked. As you hear my laundry go off, it took my entire laundry cycle to do this video. 45 minutes. I got some killer books. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you watched till the end, because that's where all the best books were. 45 minutes. I gotta shut up. I appreciate you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Follow me on Instagram. Check out the eBay. I don't really post on Instagram, to be honest, but check it out. I plan on doing more in the future. I got to get through winter. It was negative 11 degrees out today. It sucked. Negative 11 Fahrenheit. So for all of you watching in any other country but America, it was minus 24. Yeah, that's cold. So it's not as bad as like some other states in the U.S., like, you know, Wisconsin, Minnesota, North Dakota. Places like that, they get, you know, tons of the polar snow from Canada. I guess Canadians are probably like, that's nothing. But yeah, really happy. Thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate you guys for watching. And I'll be back to buy another short box full of books there by the end of the month, because I need more. I always need more. You need more. We all need more. Happy reading. Happy collecting. I'll talk to you guys later. Enjoy the Super Bowl Sunday. Bye.